The sea was a mirror. A perfect, dark mirror, reflecting a sky just beginning to blush with the promise of morning on October 4th, 2025. On the deck of the Orion, Elias and his younger brother Leo moved with a practiced rhythm born from a lifetime on the water. The air was cool and tasted of salt, a familiar and comforting scent. Their small fishing trawler chugged along steadily, its engine a low thrum against the vast silence of the open ocean. This was their office, their sanctuary, their entire world. They were miles off the coast, where the horizon was an endless, unbroken line. Elias, with weathered hands and sunrise-worn eyes, checked the rigging with quiet confidence. Leo, restless and sharp, watched for the telltale signs of schooling fish. The world was still asleep, peaceful, normal, no hint of anything unusual. The first net went out smoothly, a wide arc sinking into the blue depths. For an hour, everything was routine. The sun climbed higher, warming their faces. But then, a subtle shift. The air grew still, unnaturally still. Even the seabirds disappeared. An odd silence descended. Only the engine remained, now jarringly loud. Elias straightened, scanning the horizon. Leo felt it too. They shared a look. No one had an answer. Then they heard it, a low, resonant hum vibrating up through the hull. A deep, pulsating thrum, rising and falling like a heartbeat from the abyss. Strange, milky white plumes rose and dissipated, swirling like smoke. The water was colder than it should be. The milkiness vanished to clear. Silence, humming, ghostly plumes, a combination that defied explanation. Leo, peering over the side, froze, then pointed with a trembling hand. "Elias, look." His voice barely a whisper, tight with awe and fear. A shadow moved beneath the surface, immense, far larger than any whale, not a passing cloud. Its edges were too precise, its motion deliberate. A perfect geometric shape gliding with no discernible wake. It slipped beneath their boat. The sunlight dimmed as if eclipsed. The humming peaked, vibrating the Orion. A loose wrench rattled. They held their breath, knuckles white on the railing. Like a submarine passing, yet not any submarine they knew. Featureless, void black. No fins, no blowhole, no signs of life. Utterly alien. Faint blue lights blinked in a complex sequence, like a language. The glow receded, the hum faded, leaving an even deeper silence. What had they seen? Shaken but bound by work, they began hauling the earlier net. Elias engaged the winch, hands unsteady. The strain was immense. The Orion tilted, metal groaned. "Leo, cut the engine!" The winch screamed. Smoke trailed from the gears. Not a snag. Not here. Sandy bottom. Nothing to catch on. The line tugged back in slow, powerful jerks, as if resisting the surface. Cut the gear and lose thousands, or risk boat and lives to sea. Pride and burning curiosity won. They inched the net upward. The boat shuddered with every foot. Water churned beside the hull. Not flashing fish. Something dark and solid emerged, wrapped in mesh. The winch gave a final shudder and fell silent. They stared, encased in dripping netting, an enormous, perfectly black sphere. No welds, no rivets, no panels, a flawless, obsidian-like skin. Leo reached out, touched, and flinched. It drew the heat from his skin. Beneath the smoothness, a subtle vibration. A tiny section etched in faint geometry, glowing with a soft blue light. The same low hum, now on their deck. The reality sank in. What do you do with something like this? Who do you call? The Coast Guard? The Navy? What would they even say? We found a big black humming ball. It sounded insane. Drunks or crackpots to anyone on shore. Worse, if someone believed them, trouble might follow. Fishermen have found the impossible before, like the megamouth near Okinawa, and hauled up man-made nightmares, barrels of chemical weapons in the Baltic. Across the globe, USOs, impossibly fast shapes, odd lights, instruments gone haywire. Elias and Leo had just joined that quiet fraternity of witnesses. The orb's lines pulsed faster, brightened, dimmed, in a complex pattern, almost as if it were communicating, or responding to something far away. The sea, once familiar, felt hostile and alien. Discoveries bend time, make myths feel close enough to touch. It was evidence, proof they were not alone. The idea was immense, world-altering, and almost too much to bear. With a final, coordinated heave, they pushed the black sphere over the side. It entered the water with a surprisingly small splash. It lingered beneath the surface, blue lights pulsing one last time. Then, deliberate and controlled, it descended, until the glow was gone. The journey home was heavy silence. No words could capture what they'd seen. Any attempt at words would make it a story no one would believe. 40 years on this water, its currents, creatures, moods, respected, feared, and loved. But today, the ocean became a keeper of secrets, a veil over a world beyond comprehension. Leo could still feel its unnatural cold, and the thrum in his bones. The world felt thinner now, a fragile veneer cracked. What else moved silently in the crushing dark? Days turned into weeks. Life returned to a semblance of normalcy. They repaired their net, took the Orion to sea, and they caught fish. They laughed again, but a quiet understanding now lived between them. Their minds replayed that impossible morning over and over. Each shadow made hearts jump, each odd reading sent a jolt. More people have walked the moon than visited the deepest ocean, a world of crushing pressure, absolute darkness, and unimaginable secrets. No longer masters, they felt like visitors on a surface that wasn't theirs. If that sphere exists, what else lies hidden beneath all that water? The questions haunted them, and left a profound humility and respect for the unknown. They made a pact on the deck of the Orion, surrounded by the vast, empty sea. They would tell no one. It was a burden returned to the deep, a secret the ocean would have to keep, and they would carry the awe and the fear of that moment for the rest of their lives.